and welcome to my kitchen. And tonight I'm going to be making some pork chops, and these pork chops are inspired by a fabulous restaurant that we have where we live, and they make the most amazing pork chop that you will ever put in your mouth. Now, when we go there and you get the pork chops for dinner, of course, they're about $15 for the meal, but I got these pork chops at a really good price. They, in fact, were $1.99 a pound, and we're going to have them for dinner, and I'm going to make a pan glazed maple Dijon pork chop. And this is something that I'm doing from what I have available in my pantry and my fridge, so I thought I would bring you along for the ride. What I have here is a little spice blend. There's some herbs de Provence, some salt, some cracked black pepper, and some poultry seasoning in here. And I'm just going to go ahead and give this a sprinkle. And then I'm going to go over to the stove in just a minute. I want to sprinkle both sides. And you can use tongs if you want. I don't mind. I'm not going to reuse any of this anyway. It's all going to go in here. Because remember, you've got to season and get this all on there really good. And I'm making a giant mess. That's okay. We're also going to go ahead and we're going to make a reduced sauce. After we pan sear these and set them aside to rest, we're going to deglaze the pan with some rice wine vinegar, and that's about a tablespoon. And then we're going to go ahead and pop some chopped garlic in there. That's about 3 cloves worth. And then we're going to build our sauce with some chicken stock, some Dijon mustard, and some maple syrup. This is a B-grade maple syrup, and you can use whatever you have. You can even use a pancake syrup if you like, although I will say it is going to be a little sweeter. So, we're going to go ahead and move over to the stove, and we're going to start to saute our pork chops off. Okay, I'm just going to get these. I've had my pan heating over here. I'm just going to get these in here and get them going. Okay, so what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to allow these to cook about 5 to 6 minutes per side. And then we're going to come back and I'll show you what they look like, and we'll start to build our sauce. Okay, we're ready to pull these so they can rest. They're gorgeous. They cooked for a total of 17 minutes. Yeah, 17 minutes. And now we're going to set these aside to rest while I build the sauce. You never, ever, ever want to cut into meat before you let it rest, because it will just lose all of its juiciness and you will be disappointed. Okay, so what we have now here on the bottom of our pan is a lot of brown and grape flavor, and we call this a fond, F-O-N-D. So we're going to need to deglaze the pan just a little bit. And before we do that, I'm going to go ahead. This is one of the few times that you're going to see me actually put the garlic in before I put anything else. We're just going to put the garlic in a little bit, and then I'm going to deglaze with 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. I know earlier I said a tablespoon, but I added more to it because I think it needs more than that. Okay, get the brown bits up off the bottom. That brown is good flavor. You don't want to waste that. And just take your spoon. Get that in there. And now we're going to go in with our chicken stock or chicken broth or chicken whatever. You can also use pork or beef or vegetable stock or whatever you have on hand. And if you didn't have any of those things, you could use water. We're going to get this going on a simmer. And that should only take a minute before it starts to bubble. What we're doing here is a reduction, so we're going to allow this to reduce just a little bit, by less than half. We're not going to go beyond half. It smells really good already, just that little bit of rice wine vinegar is going to add just the necessary amount of acid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add our 2 tablespoons of Dijon in here. If you don't have Dijon, don't worry about it. You can just use whatever mustard you have on hand. If you only have mustard powder, you could add that in there as well. It's all good, okay? Make it work. It'll be fine. The Dijon is going to make it, it's going to help make it a little bit creamy, and it's going to bring it together. It's going to emulsify the sauce just a little bit and give it a little bit of thickness. And don't worry, it's all going to come together. I'm going to go ahead and add my maple syrup. Stir, stir, stir. We're going to bring this to a simmer, and then we're going to allow this to bubble and simmer for about, I'd say at least 5 minutes until we've got it reduced by just a little bit. Okay, our sauce is almost done reducing. So what we're going to do is we're going to return these pork chops to the pan, and you'll notice that I'm turning them in there just to kind of get them coated a little bit. And you're going to want to go ahead and allow these to kind of reheat in the pan. And then you're going to want to get out your meat thermometer, and you're going to want to make sure that your pork chops are cooked to an internal temperature of at least 145 degrees. And I know that there are people going, no, 165. You don't want to overcook your pork, folks. You want to make sure that your pork is delicious and beautiful, and it's perfectly okay to have a little bit of pink inside. So, it's not going to hurt you. We don't have to worry so much anymore about trichinosis and things like that we used to have to worry about, because they don't feed pigs garbage anymore. Well, I mean, they feed them GMO corn. But if you get your pork from a reputable distributor that is grass-fed pork, then you don't have to worry about that. So, here you go. We're going to let these cook for a few more minutes. I'm going to take its internal temperature, and then when we come back, we're going to fix you a plate of Dijon maple glazed pork chops, and I'm going to have some Duchess potatoes on the side, and we'll be back when it's time to do that. All right, here we go. We are all ready to serve. And you can see that the sauce, you can see when the bubbles start to get larger, you know that your reduction is just about there. It starts to look maybe a little foamy, the bubbles start to get a little larger, and of course my burner is smaller than my pan, but so the heat is concentrated in the center. And I just like to turn these a couple of times so that they get that beautiful reduced sauce all over them. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to fix you a plate, and we'll be right back. And we'll let you see what that looks like. Here we go. We have this beautiful Dijon maple glazed pork loin chop that we cooked off on top of the stove in a skillet and reduced that sauce right there in the pan using all the drippings. And I'm serving it alongside of a Duchess potato. I made these in a different video, but I have added some cheese to the top of these, and I popped them back in the oven just for the cheese to melt. We're also going to have some broccoli on the side, which is still cooking, but I wanted to share this with you before that was finished. So you can see how beautiful this looks. I mean, this really does look like you could get it in a very expensive restaurant. You can make this at home with ingredients that you have on hand already in your pantry and your fridge. And it's super delicious, and it's super easy. It just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of planning. So I hope that you consider trying this beautiful maple glazed Dijon maple glazed pork chop, and I hope that you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya!